So I call the meeting to order. Could we please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any public comments on the agenda items for today? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. The approval of minutes from the July 9th meeting, 2024. Unless there's any discussion, do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Mrs. Clear?
Second.
Thank you. And how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Yes.
Ward? Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Minutes approved. Moving on to the approval of bills. I don't know if there's any discussion or questions with regard to the bills. I think they're in the amount of $17,271.84. If no discussion or questions, could I have a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Thank you. Mr.
I'll
Olet.
second.
Thank you, Mrs. Clear. And voting, Mrs. Clear.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you very much. Next topic, demolition project, phase 1, change order 2. I'd ask Mr. Waldinger to enlighten us on this, please.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. This is change order number 2. I believe I mentioned this at last month's meeting. This was for damages that were done to the lawn restoration that had previously been completed at Joe Roots in Bel Air. Someone did drive through it with their car and do some damage, and the contractor had to go out and fix those areas. We were notified by the court that the person that pled guilty did pay restitution in full. I believe we're still awaiting those funds to be transferred from the court, but we do expect full restitution immediately rather than through some sort of a payment agreement. And so at this time, I'm asking for permission to pay Empire Excavating and Demolition $7,250 for change order number 2, with those funds being returned to the authority through the courts.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the Empire bill, $7,250?
I'll make it.
Thank you very much.
I forgot, I'm also seeking authorization to sign the change order itself. Could we, if you so are inclined to add that to the motion,
Thank you
please?
for that clarification. So
It hasn't
authorization signed.
changed my mind.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ward. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Clear. And taking a vote, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion approved. Moving on to number 7, demolition project phase 2. Again, Mr. Waldinger.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am seeking permission from the board to advertise bid packages for demolition project phase 2. Phase 2 would entail the removal of the Bel Air Hotel building and all pavement associated with it, as well as just a small sliver of pavement that is on the property of the Grasshopper. It's actually, it appears in practice to be part of the Bel Air parking field, but the Grasshopper was using it. So we would remove that small sliver of pavement. Bid package is prepared and ready to go out. And so I'm seeking the board's approval to go ahead and advertise for those. Sorry, I should update a little bit on the schedule. The process would be we would expect to have bids due by Friday, September 6th. They would then hopefully be evaluated and able to be awarded by the board on Tuesday, September 10th, your next regular meeting. We're looking for a completion date of the building itself to be demolished and down by February 28th, 2025, and then completion of the removal of the pavement site restoration by May 31st of 2025.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any discussion or questions? If not, could I have a motion to approve the bid package for advertising for demo Phase 2.
I'll second then.
Thank you very much.
And I vote yes.
Thank you. Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Olat?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next agenda item, Mason Farms license agreement. I think I would probably ask Solicitor Shaw to speak to that, or Mr. Waldinger, either one.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
As the board knows, we were approached by John Mason from Mason Farms seeking to ask the authority to leave some pavement behind so that they could use additional parking on what was formerly the Sandbar property until the property was developed. We did negotiate with Mr. Mason, and the solicitor did prepare a license agreement. Following negotiations, they have agreed to pay us, hang on, I'm sorry, I thought I had it up here. They have agreed to pay us, the authority, for use of the property, a fee of $485 a month for 9 months of the year that they would be using it. That's a total of $4,365 per year. Assuming this year and next year's fees are paid, that would make the authority whole for any change orders that were involved with leaving that pavement behind and changes to the contract, so there would be no net cost to the authority. Mr. Mason and Mason Farms has provided us with insurance for use of that property so that the authority is held harmless from anything that happens. I don't know if the solicitor would like to make any further comments about the agreement or the details.
Thank you, Mr. Waldinger.
It's just a basic license agreement, has the requirements for payment and indemnities and protections and so forth. It also requires him to, once he's finished, to remove the material that was left behind for his benefit, so.
Thank you. So we need to take a vote on that, the agreement, signing the agreement?
Yes, I would ask for the board's approval of the license agreement contingent upon final review by the authority solicitor to make sure if any last-minute changes are appropriate.
Very good. Do I have a motion to enter into the license agreement with Mason Farms?
Yes. So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Olat. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Clary. And how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Olat?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. Moving on to communications, treasurer report. Mrs.
I
Perry.
don't have anything to report.
Okay. Thank you. Back to the executive director, Mr. Walding.
Thank you. I do have just a very brief report. As we spoke about at the last meeting, we have hired Clio Consulting to do an evaluation of the historic value of the grasshopper. Because of some time that it took to get an agreement in place and negotiations with the contractor, we do have now a completion date for the report of September 15th. Originally, it had been in August. And so now September 15th is the completion date for that report that we will present to the State Historic Preservation Office. Next would be just an update on St. Jude. Again, at the last meeting, we approved a license agreement with St. Jude Church so that they could come on the property and remove the pine trees that were behind the former motel building on the Bel Air. That license agreement has been provided to the pastor, and we are just waiting on them to return it to us so that we can move forward. And then lastly, just as a general update to everybody, the Bel Air property, we are going to be having a meeting soon on site to develop a plan to do some work to try and tidy up some of the vegetation. We realize that it is getting a little out of hand. Part of our contract will be to remove all of that, but that won't happen until probably late fall. It will be gone by the spring, but in the meantime, we do have a plan, or we'll be developing a plan to kind of tidy that up in the meantime and keep that looking as best as we can.
Good. Thank you. Who will be taking down the trees, the pine trees, after the St. Jude's gets back to us?
They have not, that's part of
part of
what we're awaiting is the contractor that they have hired, but it would be a contractor for St. Jude's. They would be hiring them.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now moving on to the solicitor report. Any communications? Nothing on mine. Okay, thank you very much. Anything else at that point? Okay. Any citizens to be heard today?
You need a microphone so that the people watching can
Do
hear
you want to come? You want to come up?
Oh, you're not going?
Oh, you don't have
okay.
anything.
You're just
Okay.
saying hi. Hi, Dennis.
Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Okay. Hearing no citizens, we can move on to adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn
I will make the motion to adjourn.
and a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. That was a very quick meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Very well-run meeting. Thank you.